So hello everyone, it is Toby here and welcome to my little channel where we're going to be doing a quick and loose sketch of this fascinating building. It's the Rivermill pub. It's in Eton Socken, which is a sort of district or a part of my town, St Neots. And it's a scary building. Look at it, it's huge, it's got all these sort of textures, lots of busyness going on in front. So I've not ever really sketched it just because it looks so challenging, right? So in this video, we're going to just have a look at how I approach things which are a bit challenging. And how do I do it? By just relaxing and treating it as an opportunity to be a bit loose and have a bit of fun with it. When we're loose and we have a bit of fun, we do take the pressure off. And actually often that means we're happy with what we produce. Now the first thing you might notice is how I'm holding my pen, almost flat to the paper and at the very end. And this is why fountain pens are great, because you can do that. And by holding it so far back, our lines get nice and loose. We're no longer fully in control of them, and that lets some of that pressure off even more. That said, you'll notice I'm trying to control my line. What I'm doing is I'm producing shapes. So already you can see these clear shapes building up, triangles, rectangles, and I'm building them bit by bit. So I'm not doing the whole of the big shapes first. I'm getting the little shapes in as well. The little shapes within the big shapes, and then just moving on and picking out the next of the sort of big shape. And why is that? Well, it's because I'm doing this as a continuous line drawing, or mostly continuous line. You might have noticed that I haven't picked my pen up even once yet. And again, that's just another way of forcing myself to simplify, because when we're worried about something being a challenge for us or not quite sure how to approach it, well, there's lots of ways that we could make it easy. And for me, one of my favourite ways is to go, you know what, I'm going to do this in one line. Now that might sound like it's going to make it hard, but really for me what it does, it goes, right, well, I'm going to have to do the outline, aren't I? I'm going to have to do the outline. I'm really going to have to then focus on what's important, because it's not going to be possible to make this some sort of giant perfect sketch if I'm doing it all in one line. And then suddenly the pressure's off and you make a mistake and you work out how you come back for it, and it ends up fine. It's just far more enjoyable. So having built up various shapes of the main scene, I'm then focusing on these funny plants in the front, and they're challenging because they're not uniform, they're not symmetrical, they're in a bit of a pattern, and that's what I'm trying to get, the essence of that little bit of a pattern without trying to pretend that actually it's going to be perfect. And what am I trying to do? Trying to get that idea of perspective. So having the plant pots themselves disappear off into the background, and then having the leaves and the bushes sort of grow as they come towards us, then grow and build, and that kind of, it's not like a strict linear perspective, but it's a feeling of flow. That sort of flowing towards us is another type of perspective, and that same feeling of flow comes with all these little fairy lights and lights hanging up as well. That flow coming towards us and just getting things growing, the feeling of just encroaching on us as they move forward, is another really simple way of doing perspective. Now, another part of this which is scary is all the people. But look at how easy it is just to simplify people. Here they're all sat down, so all we can see is a circle and then a little blob underneath. And that's what I've drawn my people as. Now, having had enough of doing people, we can move on. We don't have to do everyone. We don't have to do everyone exactly right. We can add people, but we can then also move on and come back to them later. So that's what I did. Moved on and just started adding in a bit more noise in the building, a bit more of these sort of window type shapes going on. And as we build things up, as we build up that noise, that sort of density of line work, we can start to see, how much else we might want to add elsewhere, or how much we want to hold back elsewhere. That helps us refine the details we might want to add. It helps us refine the amount of texture and shadow we might want to add. As soon as we can see a little bit of what's going on, it lets us sort of decide about the rest of the image. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm gradually moving around and building up. And what are these random lines about? Well, again, that's about the flow of the image. For me, there was some empty space, and I wanted to fill that empty space with something which brought the image round. You might have heard of the Fibonacci spiral, and if you haven't, just Google it, Google the Fibonacci spiral, and you'll see what I mean. But it's got that feeling there. Hopefully those random lines have got that feeling of that flow, that spiraling through the image, bringing you into the interesting focal point. So it's a useful technique. When you just got a little bit of space, you want to use a useful technique just to get used to adding abstract lines which don't mean anything but do add to that general feeling of flow. Now the colours. So again, nice and light and loose. This is light line work on a quite big piece of paper. So I'm starting with this sort of medium-sized Chinese style brush and just popping on some cobalt blue. Cobalt blue, a lovely, cool and sort of bright and beautiful blue. And I'm bringing that cobalt in down the image as well. There's not much blue in the building really, if we're being honest, but there is shadow. And shadows, you know, we can suggest with a hint of blue. Then just adding some drama with something deeper. So this is Moonglow. Moonglow with cobalt. It's one of my absolute favourite combinations for skies because it just adds drama. Either you have a moody sky made up of Moonglow and you add a bit of punch of life and zing with cobalt, or you do it the other way around. You have a blue, which could be a flat sky, but you add a little bit of drama with Moonglow. Now coming to the building itself, I'm just using a little bit of sepia, then a little bit of quinacridone gold. Again, these are two colours which, you know, you could think of as similar. They're both basically browns or browny oranges. But by pairing them together, we get both that mood, but then that glow, that singing through as well. Next, a little bit of Scarlet Lake. And there's no Scarlet Lake, there's no red in this image at all, but I'm being loose. And I love this colour. I love what it does to an image. I love how it pairs with my other colours. And that's why I'm adding it in a few places. Again, just for that flow. These greens, I'm using Cascade Green, another loose colour, which really splits very nicely if you use plenty of water. Gives you some different tones, and you can already see it granulating on the bottom left bush of this page. And what you'll notice is where I'm putting my colours, nothing is having to stay where I put it. There's lots of water on the page and things are sliding and moving around. I'm actually using, this is cold pressed paper, but I flipped it around. And on the back of the cold pressed paper often is much a lighter texture. And that lighter texture is very slippy. So the colours do literally just feel like they're slipping and sliding all over. And that effect can be really beautiful. A bit like using hot pressed paper. Really beautiful for loose colours. Just allowing you so much more push and flexibility. Your colours going on the page are never kind of permanent. They can just keep moving. Now whilst I've been blabbering on, I've added on a bit more Hansa yellow there. That's a Hansa yellow medium, which was supposed to be showing off the lights, but what it's done is given this huge glow to the image. And then I'm just adding a bit more of that drama, a bit more of that deep moon glow, and just going, you know what, look at this big negative space, beautiful negative space, but a big negative space. And sometimes just adding a tiny shadow, tiny suggestion of something in the windows is enough to make negative space suddenly feel worthwhile instead of feeling blank and unfinished. And there, all I'm doing now is a few final little finishing touches, and in way under 10 minutes, I have completed an A3 sketch of something I found really scary, using, yes, a really loose approach, but actually I think, and feel free to disagree, I think this is actually a really beautiful sketch. It's really something I'm really proud of and really happy I did. Now, if you enjoy my videos and enjoy this approach, do like, subscribe, and of course leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of things you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching. So thank you everyone for watching my little sketching videos. If you enjoy my content, please do subscribe to my channel because it makes me really, really happy. Thanks again.